Good evening, and thanks for watching this new live stream on Homo Ludens, the channel on history and board games. Tonight we will be playing a game that was sent to me by GMT Games, Conquest and Consequences. This design uses the same system as another very successful game for GMT called Triumph and Tragedy, released a few years ago. But it takes the system and puts it into the Pacific theater with quite a few twists. As for Triumph and Tragedy, this is a 3-player game, and there are 3 factions that are being depicted. The Japanese Empire, a communist faction regrouping the USSR and Chinese insurgents, and finally a capitalist faction consisting of the US, the British Empire, and nationalist China. Before we start, I would like to thank the backers of the show that make this possible for me to stream this game in HD. So you're going to be able to actually see the counters on the board. So thanks to all of them. Really appreciate your support. And if you want to support the show, you can find a Ko-fi link somewhere on my YouTube page. I'm pretty bad at putting the link in the description. Sorry about that. And if you do, you will get access to the private Discord server, and you can get to decide some things about the show and also be part of the war game club that we have each month. With me tonight, I have 2 magnificent guests, the king of block games himself, Craig Besinque, the designer of this game and Triumph and Tragedy, but also a lot of really emblematic block games. So super happy to have him with us tonight. And also Stephen Rangazas, the designer of the British Way, who will be playing the US tonight. And then finally, there is also Joe playing Japan. So I'm going to bring all of them on stream. Thanks everyone for being here. And I don't know you, but I see a black screen for Joe, and he's here. Great. Thanks everyone for taking the time tonight. Joe is already annoyed, but yeah, thanks everyone for being here. And as I was saying, so I will be playing the Soviets or the Reds, and you, Stephen, will be playing the US, and Joe, you will be playing Japan. Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
Great. But I guess before we start getting into the game, the thing that we like to do, Craig, is maybe discuss a tiny bit about the design, knowing that as we discussed offline before we started, we'll have an opportunity in the middle of the live stream to actually discuss it a bit more. But I wanted to take the opportunity that you're here on the show to maybe actually ask you a couple of questions before we jump into the game. And the first thing that I wanted to ask you is more from a designer perspective. So Triumph and Tragedy was released 6 years ago, and it's a game in the same system. So, and I was wondering, when you were making this game, were you already thinking of Conquest and Consequences?
Yeah, you always think ahead a little bit. That's only if it turns out to be enough of a success to justify a follow-up game. But back burner. Maybe 5% of my thoughts about TNT were about this. Although for instance, in some ways, like including carriers in Triumph and Tragedy that was thinking ahead to a possible extension of the Pacific. And so yeah, some thought, but pretty preliminary.
Great. The other question that I had, and that's I guess something that probably is discussed by the people who played the game, and I know that definitely Stephen and Joe, we discussed it a bit, is the role of the Soviet player, and that's the thing I was wondering about it. So it's a 3-player game, which is a bit unorthodox when you look at other Pacific theater game, and this one of its uniqueness is actually there is this 3rd player here that makes it really interesting. But I was thinking about it historically. You have the USSR that wasn't really active on that front in World War II. There were some border conflicts between 35 and 39 with Japan when they were in Manchuria. And then there was the invasion at the very end. And I was thinking, as a designer, what was your approach to make that faction interesting?
Yeah, that's a real good question. We wanted a 3rd faction because the 3-way dynamic in TNT is a big part of the game. The shifting alliances and the who's your friend, who and how long, and all that. So the obvious choice. Now, the Japanese army did have plans for going after Siberia, detailed plans, and they advocated for it because Eastern Siberia is hard to defend. It's got the one railway which runs right along the border, and that makes it tough to supply. Anyway, so they did have plans to do it, and then after they ran into the Zukov at Kalkan Gaul, they got a little discouraged about that. Plus, the oil embargoes were starting to hit, and so eventually the Navy prevailed, and they went south. But the Army wanted to go north. So it's a legitimate thing to include Siberia in the Japanese program of conquest. And of course, we brought China into the game in a big way because, well, it was pretty significant in the end, as it turned out. So, the Chinese Civil War is presented too, and the Soviets plus the Chinese Communists. They didn't have a lot of military power, but it turned out they kind of won, really. So we went this way with trying to introduce kind of a below the military level warfare, political warfare, hearts and minds stuff, and with the partisan chits that you guys know about now. But so it was definitely one of the big issues in the game was to try and make the Soviet player feel engaged and feel like he was doing something important and he had interesting things to do. And I'm pretty happy with the way nothing's perfect, but I think we did give the Soviet player a lot to do. You have to be patient. You have to have the right mentality. You're not going to be running panzers around. You got to kind of, be slinky and slow and patient. And then in the end, you will explode and you will get to have your fun militarily. But some players don't find that as fun to play. I personally do. I think a lot of people do. But it's very different. And it does require a different mentality to play the Soviets.
Great. And I think it's really interesting that in a grand strategic game like this, you introduce some element that are on a way smaller scale, in the insurgent scale. And I was wondering, do you play some coin games, or did you get inspired by other games that are depicting some counterinsurgency?
I've never played a coin game. I live in a small town in the mountains of British Columbia, and my game circle is very small, and I kind of live in my own universe game-wise, and I know about games. I go to BGG every day, and I read about them, but I have not played any coin games, and I would say that I kind of design my games in a vacuum, to be honest. And I know I use ideas from plenty of other games, but I'm just saying I kind of just live in my own world as a designer. So
and Craig, I would say if one day you want to come to the channel and play a con game with us and go through a teach and play that one of us can provide, I would be more than happy to deliver. You just have to say the word.
You probably would learn something. So yeah, but it's just there's a limited amount of game in my life, and I usually use it designing, and so.
That's very fair, but the offer still stands. Think about it if one day you're interested.
Where are you? Where are you located?
I'm in London, so that would have to be
London.
online.
I'm sorry. Okay, right.
That would have to be online. That would be a bit long for me to go to.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. London's great. I have a good friend in London, Steve, one of my college roommates. So, yeah, thank you for the invitation. Maybe I'll get on that someday.
Yeah. Keep me posted. I can see that there is already quite a few reactions in the chat, and I'm going to bring one question here from Patchwork Pictures asking, is the Northern Plan a possibility in the game?
Oh, yeah.
So just for context, can we explain what is the Northern Plan?
They called it the Northern Road, and it basically is a Japanese plan to take on the Soviets, take on the Russians, and grab the resources that are east of Lake Baikal. It's pretty easy to do. And if the Russians aren't careful, they can be had. You can go all the way to Novosibirsk, and a lot of our playtest games early was all about that. And people that think that you just need to kind of play doggo and build a lot of industry as the Russians are, you play me and you don't build any military, I'll probably come after you. That's all I'm saying.
And it's interesting that you're saying this because I was thinking about it when we started playing with Stephen and Joe the other day. So I was already playing the Soviets, and I really felt like I was really happy that Joe was focusing on the Pacific because I was like, I have literally nothing. I'm naked over there. I had and I felt I didn't have time to do it anyway. I had to focus on something else, and I was just trying to be extremely discreet, just doing my own stuff.
So I was just looking at the map now as we were talking about it, and I hadn't really paid much attention to it. Maybe because of I don't know, because it's quite kind of a small area, but there is a decent amount of population and resources there. So
I'm gonna bring the map in so people can see. But
there's another factor here that you have to remember: if you're going to take on Russia, is that all of a sudden your defense gets a lot simpler if you can capture up to Baikal. Now you only need one stack to hold your line against the Russians. So this is not you don't really want a two-front war, but you can, if you can go all the way, go all the way. If you can't, Lake Baikal is a really great front to hold.
Yeah, and you could quite quickly put those units in the Far East out of supply as well, couldn't you? If you cut them off there,
definitely. You go in after China, and this is all about Mongolia. Mongolia becomes a focus, in my opinion. Anyway, that's so the short answer is yes, the Northern Road is viable, and if you're Russia, you better be aware of that.
Great, but then I think we can probably jump in and start talking about the game. Just before we do that, I just want to answer a question here from Board Game Chronicle. By the way, the Board Games Chronicle, they made quite a few pieces of content on the game, so on Conquest and Consequence over the last couple of months, both by written but also video formats, and I definitely recommend checking it out. They have a blog on Board Game Geek and also a channel on YouTube, so really cool. And to your question around making sure that we prolong the fun and show different aspects of the game, so the planning that we have for tonight is actually we're going to play the first year of the game, so we're going to play 1936, and then we're going to stop and load a save from another game that Stephen, Joe, and I started playing. That will put us directly in 1939, and Joe has been pretty aggressive as the Japanese, so we should see some fighting tonight. So that's the planning. Cool. But then I will bring back the map, and I guess maybe what we can start by doing, Craig, is just maybe you giving us an overview of the game.
First, there's a question I see here in the comments that I wanted to quickly answer while it was on my mind, which was a request. Are you thinking about shorter scenarios? And the answer to that is yes. There are a couple, one by me and one by another guy on Board Game Geek, that start in 1940 and 1941. And so yes, that is available now, and those are, of course, not very play tested, but I tried to give it a good shot, and I think they'd be fun to play. So yeah.
But I guess now that the game is out and you have some players, you can make them play test it for you.
That's a deal. Well, I mean, it was just written, so it can't be that play tested. Okay, well, I think you've covered a lot of the basics of what this is all about. For people who don't know even Triumph and Tragedy, these are not simulation games. These are wide open, what they call sandbox games, where much more than the average war game, much more is possible. It's wide open spaces. You have lots and lots and lots of choices, and it's kind of simplifies, generalizes, abstracts a lot to make the gameplay fast and to keep players immersed. This is really a game about having fun. That's what it's designed to do. It's not supposed to reflect history. It's supposed to be something that's really fun to play, and Triumph and Tragedy worked out that way, and I hope this one does too. So it's not a historical simulation, but I think there is enough history to represent the strategic mindset of the three players, what they have, what they need, what their options are, and I think it's historical enough to provide a reasonably credible game narrative as you go through it. So it's history based, but it will not be historical and will not play out historically. The sequence of play is very simple. It's basically New Year bookkeeping phase. Then there's a production phase where people have production normally around 10 per player, something like that, which you can use to buy steps on your blocks, or that would cost a point each, or a new block costs a point, or you can buy an action card. There are 2 decks, or you can buy an investment card, and that's your production. How many steps, how many new units, how many action cards, how many investment cards. So, and that's production phase. Then you go on to a government phase where you play cards for various reasons, including diplomacy, technology, and building up your industry. Then you go into the 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, winter. And in each season begins with each player committing a command card. The action cards have a command value. They all have more than one value, but one of the things on every action card is a command value, which states a season, a letter, and a number. So to begin a season, say spring, all 3 players would commit a command card if they want. They don't have to. And then you reveal them all, and the players will play the spring in the order of the alphabetic entry of their command cards, A before B, etc. And the second part of a command card is a number, and that tells you how many unit moves you get. So if you play an A6, you're going to move first in spring, and you're going to be able to move your 6 units. And if you get into any combats, you'll have a combat phase. So all the seasons go in the same way: spring, summer, fall. Winter's a little different, but we'll get into that later. And then that's basically a year. And you rotate back and start a new year. And that's these games are hopefully around 4-hour games. But so the early turns go quicker, and then when you get into war, things will get more elaborate with some conflict. But the victory conditions are basically, this whole game is kind of economic based. The map, I think, pretty accurately depicts the presence of resources in the area, and the presence of what I call population, which is really kind of productive population. And so the economics are based on the population you control, the influence or the resources you control, and your level of industry, which starts as a fixed position in the beginning of the game, and you can increase that by use of cards. So the lowest of those 3 is your production, as I said. And so the economics not only gives you your production every turn, every year, but it also is the primary component of victory. So your goal in the game as a faction really is to try and expand your sphere of influence / empire, and get a balanced mix of population and resources, and build up your industry to the point where you can take advantage of that. And that will form the bulk of your victory criteria. You can also win by capturing 2 enemy capitals, which are hard to see on this map right now, but they are basically stars with 2 or 3 circles around them. For instance, Novosibirsk. Well, we see Nanking here. There we go. There's one. New Delhi is another one.
We have one up. We have
here.
one up here. Look.
And you've got Mukden. Yeah, you've got LA, you've got Tokyo, you've got Nanking. So those, if you capture 2 of your enemies' main capitals, that's a military victory. It's not so easy to do in this game. The third way is probably even harder, and that is to achieve the atomic bomb, which is a technological 4 steps of technology. It takes a lot of resources to try and do it, but it is doable. You don't see it often, but it does happen. So if the game goes to the end with no one having, if anyone reaches 25 victory points, which is mostly composed of your production plus some extra victory points for control of China, for the nationalists and the Reds, and extra victory points for control of Pacific bases for the US and Japan. If you reach 25, sudden death win. If you get 2 military capitals, sudden death win. If you get atomic bomb, sudden death win. If none of those happen and you reach 1945, then the player with the biggest economy wins, basically. So I think that's kind of our basic overview, and why don't we just jump in?
Yeah. So it's an economic game, and as people can see, the Soviets are not doing well at start. So maybe that's what you were saying. So for example, here we have Japan. And we can see that Japan started with 5 resources, 10 pops, and a level of industry of 11. So those are the 3 markers that you have for each of the countries. And then you've got the US here.
Yeah, limited by industry, and the reds also pretty limited. There's a couple of extra marks on the tracks you'll see there. Up next to in the red track there's the 3 dark red counters, which apply to Soviet Russia, eastern part. And there's 2 purple markers, which relate to the Maoist reds. They also have their own little proxy production, and that's what those markers are all about. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Okay, but I guess now we can probably focus on the setup.
Yeah.
So I have a fixed setup here as the Soviets in China, and then we have just a bunch of cadre units that we can do whatever we want. And when we refer to cadre in this game, is combat units with one combat value. That's yeah.
1-step units.
And we've lost Joe, but I guess we can focus on our setup while Joe reconnects, I guess. Okay. So of course, people watching the stream will know what I'm doing, but I don't think it matters. And Stephen, you wouldn't cheat, right?
No, I have my screen pulled up in front of me, so I can't even see both of you right now.
Oh,
that's very nice. And yeah, Craig, if you see me doing something that is not okay, let me know.
Yeah, I'm going to try and expand this a little larger. No, you're free to do any unit you like. You can
I think the only thing that I'm not allowed to do is probably not put a navy in Tashkent. But
you allow you to. You can, but you're going to have trouble moving it.
Fair enough. Oh, and I think Joe is slowly coming back. I think. Yes, Joe is back. So for context, people watching the stream, Joe is in Germany, and Germany is the worst country ever for internet. So that's why we might lose Joe once in a while.
Really? That's surprising.
It is. It's very surprising. They have terrible internet infrastructure for some reason.
As a French person, I'm not surprised. I'm not like nothing surprises me from those people.
But I should be back now, and hopefully it will be okay. Let me see. Fred still needed to set up his units anyway, though. So.
Yeah, that's what I've just done.
So you're set up?
Yeah, I'm set up. I think that. Are you set up, Stephen?
Yeah, I'm fully set up. I think you still need to hide your CCP units.
You actually need to hide your units too, Stephen.
Do I?
One of yours in Seattle needs hiding.
Okay. Let me go hide the Seattle guys.
There is a button. There's just a hide all button you can press.
Hide all. Yeah. Okay.
It's still showing the cadre icons, and most of
yeah. That's the same for me. I'm just gonna check. I think I might be. Oh, wait a minute. I think I've been disconnected from the.
Oh, it's.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna resynchronize. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here twice, and Joe is here twice too. Good.
Excellent. The beauty of Vassal, very advanced technology.
That's sad.
Vassal.
And I can actually. Okay, now I can synchronize with Stephen. Good.
Okay.
Sorry about that, everyone.
I'm looking at the questions while we're. Oh, okay. While we're having a little hiatus.
Yeah.
Soviet victory. Our experience was, and I deliberately, when I design games, I try to make the guy who has the most fun attacking, I try to make it a little harder for him to win. And the guy who has to be the most passive for most of the game, I try and make it a little easier for them to win. There's a trade-off. So if you have to have a slow start, maybe your chances of winning will be better. So in our games, we kind of had at least our share of Soviet wins, I would say. And the Japanese have a tough time. They are, depends on who you play. I think the learning curve with Japan, like with Germany, is, you have to be real efficient. You don't have a lot of time, and you're kind of up against it in the long run. So you have to be real efficient. But if you're good at playing in Japan, I think you got a good chance to win. And if you're kind of your first couple of games, you'll probably find it pretty hard to win in Japan. And let's see. Okay, let's see. I said about the other scenarios.
Yeah.
It's not actually the scenario I designed is not just before Pearl Harbor. This is a sandbox game, and I kind of don't really want to do that. So what I did was I designed a 1940 game where the Japanese have pretty much cleaned up what they want of China, and it's now what? So you've got a year or two to build. You've got a year or two you got free deployment. It's not a historical setup. You can set up how you want. So it still leaves it very open with this China issue kind of settled in some way. And it leaves it open for Japan. Do you want to go after Delhi? Do you want to go after Singapore? Do you want to go after America? Do you want to go after whatever you're going to do, Pearl Harbor? You still got all those options. You're going to build accordingly. So that's the way I designed the 1940 scenario. And I hope people try it. I'm interested to see what they think of it. I think it's particularly if you're primarily interested in the naval war. I think it would be worth looking into.
So we start by we fill our hand of action cards for the setup, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They get 6. Yep. Good.
And then I'm gonna drag them down.
Cards too. Stephen and Joseph, you should get a mittful. America gets 16.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we're into New Year's. Is all we have to do here is assign. Everyone gets a peace dividend for being peaceful last year. So that's a start. Everybody should pick one peace dividend. It's hidden. Nobody should know what it is except for you. But peace dividends are awarded to a country which was not at war the previous year, and they can be 0, 1, or 2. They're mostly 1s or 0s. There's a few 2s, and they count towards victory points again. So there's an unknown benefit to being peaceful, and it also adds. You can see a lot of the victory points on the map and on the tracks, but you can't see the victory points. So in the end of the game, there's a 2 or 3 point variance in what everybody's got. So you don't know exactly how it stands. Okay, we got a peace dividend, and now we roll for player order. We roll 1 dice to see what the player order is going to be for 1936.
So it's a 2. So the turn order is going to be starting with Japan counterclockwise.
Correct. You've done that correctly. You can see the green marker there on the left end of the Japanese yellow track. That's the turn order for the whole year. And so that means now that we determined that, we're going into production, and Japan will produce first, and their production will be 10 because their industry is 11 and their population is 10. Their resources are only 5, but resources don't count until you're at war. So Japan is going to produce 10. They can build a new block in Japan. They can add a PIP to any block anywhere as long as it's on land and in supply and not in a battle. Or they can buy an action card, which is for command and it's for diplomacy. Or they can buy an investment card, which is good for factories and technologies. So there's your 10. Japan, off you go.
So I'm going to increase 5 blocks, so not build new blocks. And these can only increase 1 step each
one
build,
pip,
right?
1 pip per turn. Yeah.
Yep. So 1 here in Formosa, 1 down here in the Marshall Islands, and then 3. Well, let's see. I have this way zoomed out, so I can't see what I'm doing. That's silly.
Yeah, we cannot see what you're doing either.
No, 3 up here in Tokyo.
Good.
Yeah, I should do this, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Little indication. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to spend the rest of my points just on investment cards. So I'll draw 5 of those.
Okay, because you have 6 action cards already in your initiative.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yep.
All right, now we're rotating around to the left according to the arrow at the end of the yellow track to the Soviets.
And I have a production of only 4 because my industry sucks.
But we also have proxy production for Mao.
Yeah, that I need to start with.
If you look at your purple blocks, the lesser of those 2 blocks gets you 2 free action cards every production. So
so that gives me 3 action cards?
well, it gives you 2 because the lesser of these 2 blocks is 2. So you've got your 6 that you drew to start, and you get 2 free for Proxy Production, for Red Production, 2 free action cards. So draw those.
Okay, so it's action cards. It's not points that I need to spend. No. So it's necessary card. Okay.
The Reds get action cards. The Nationalists get pips.
Right, that's something we misplayed on yesterday, I think. Good to know.
That comes in real handy because with the limited economy that the Russians have at 4, having 2 action cards a year, kind of guarantees you some mobility and yada yada, right? So you can use your production for other things.
This actually, I think, explains a question we had. So Fred was using that for Chinese production instead, and we were a bit surprised that the Red Army expanded quite so fast. So this instead means they're going to expand with partisans and the insurgent pieces, which
you also always have movement. Even if you only have 4, you can always count on 2 action cards. So
yeah, good. That makes sense.
You have
so I drew those 2 cards, and now I have 4 for anything else I wish to do.
Correct.
So what I would do is I will draw 3 investment cards.
Yeah, sounds good.
And I will increase 1 block, 1 pip.
Fine.
And that would be it for me.
Right on. Okay. So now we're on to Stephen.
Yep.
And you got it. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I think you're about to tell me that I have to do my nationalist proxy production.
Correct. And the nationalist, again, the same. The lower of the 2 values of your, I guess they're light blue-green blocks on your track, is going to entitle you to pips for nationalist Chinese only. One pip.
Yeah, I did 1 pip in Nanking, and then now I will do my normal production with the U.S., which I think is 6.
You're supposed to get 2 pips for the nationalists. Pardon me. You're at 1. You're right. Absolutely. 1 pip in Nanking.
Those have to be just militia or forts, I believe, with the nationalist production. Yep, great.
And then with the U.S., I will do, because I'm already afraid of Japan from my game yesterday with those long lance torpedoes. Somehow I let them have the Dutch East Indies and a worse version of Pearl Harbor in my first game of this. So
yeah, it was a bit sad to watch.
Yeah.
You got to give the Japanese a shot in this game. So yeah, good to see.
And when you think about this, we have a question from Patchwork Pictures. So a question is there a module on Tabletop Simulator, Craig? Do you know if there is?
There is, yes. My co-developer, Simon, made a Tabletop Simulator module, and it's quite good. I prefer Vassal myself, but he doesn't. He likes TTS, so personal preference there. I like Vassal because it's easy to save your stuff and go back and look again. And I find it easier to manipulate units in Vassal too.
Yeah, I prefer Vassal too. The only thing that would make me pick TTS is if I have to do a stream and I want the game to look like, usually TTS looks better during a stream, but for a pure playing experience, I would rather play with Vassal.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
All right, so I am done with production. So.
Cool.
So, wait a minute. I didn't move the tracker here. So we were in production phase. So that means that we're going into the government phase.
Government phase. Okay, government's all about card play. And you guys, this goes in player order, starting with Japan. And you have the option to play 1 diplomacy card. Go ahead.
Maybe here there is something interesting to say regarding the hand size dynamic. Because we, as you might not have seen, but we all have a hand size limit. Then we're all way above our limit. So Japan has 7, the Soviets have 6, and the US have 8. And if you look at the number of cards that we each have in our hands, I'm 5 above my limit. The US is 11 above their limit, and Japan is 5. So there is an incentive for Japan and Soviets to pass and see what the US are doing before taking any action, because we don't have to. Because if the game were to the turn were to suddenly end, we wouldn't lose as many cards as they would.
Yeah, that's good. The point is, at the end of government, if you have more cards in your hand than you're allowed, you have to discard them. Mm-hmm. So if you are way, way, way over the way that the government phase ends is 3 passes in a row. So if you're way over and you pass, maybe the other 2 guys will pass just to screw you and force you to discard 1 million cards. So if you're the biggest guy, the onus is really on you to play, because the other people will just say, I'm going to pass you what you've got.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to challenge me, we'll just pass you, and then I'll go with that.
I'm going to take one action anyway, just to keep Stephen on his toes. So I'm going to build a technology, and the way this is done is with 2 matching cards, but I'm actually going to build this secretly. So
Okay.
do I put both? I need to put both in the vault, don't I, to prove that I had them? Yeah. So those go down there at the top of the board.
Yep.
And I can then reveal that at any point in a later turn to surprise someone.
Correct.
And I'm also going to put my hand size marker down as well, just to show that I've got a reduced hand size.
Okay.
That's correct, isn't it? That counts as being in my hand. Yep.
That count. Well, that drops your hand size by 1.
Yeah. Great. Done.
Your hand size is okay. Yeah, that's Japan's. I see there.
Yeah, so it should be 6 now. Yep.
Yeah, it should be 6. Okay.
Cool.
And I don't need to keep anyone on their toes because I'm the Soviet and I cannot do much. So I'm just gonna pass quietly.
Yeah.
All right, so I am gonna just be a good isolationist and just build up my factories and not do anything. So I have to discard, I think, a total of 7
cards or something, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I gotta get rid of 7 cards worth of industry to because that's the cost of the U.S. to upgrade their industry.
7 factories.
Yep, 7 factories. And then once Japan declares war on me, which I'm sure will happen at some point, that will drop down to 4, I think.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'll pass now until we see what Stephen's doing. Yep.
I'm actually thinking about potentially doing something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to develop a technology, and because I'm not like you guys, I'm going to do it openly. I'm going to play those 2, but actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to rotate them to indicate that the technology that I'm doing is guerrilla warfare.
Nice.
So normally you would combine one of the technologies on the side, but I have a special technology here surrounded in red, and if I have 2, I can place it here.
Yep.
And that means that now my partisan unit can ambush.
Yeah, good one. That's a pretty good start, dude.
Okay.
That's the hardest one to get for the red text. Yeah. All right, so that brings it to U.S. again, I believe.
Yep. And I will put some influence with this Brothers in Arms, which is that's immediately places a marker, right? Unlike the
all while contemplating, because you have to indicate which of the options you're taking.
So I'm going to, where are the markers? Here, there. I'm going to put this in the Dutch East Indies because I've learned my lesson of letting.
Yeah.
I think I was supposed to, stop them from taking that so easily.
Actually, I mean, maybe a good teaching moment for why that's so useful is these red resource markers are worth double for Japan. I think they're oil, right? And that's particularly important because if we look at Japan here, my resources don't currently constrain my production, but once I go to war, that's going to absolutely plummet my production right now. So it's important.
5 resources, 10 population, 11 industry. So they're they don't want to go to war until they get their. Now going to war in China is not going to war. That's one thing we haven't really talked about. But if going to war with the U.S. or Russia will constrain you to your resources. So what Joseph said is absolutely right.
Then it's my turn. I can pass again. I think that's okay. I can afford to do that. Yep.
Yeah, and I will pass too.
Okay, so back to me. So to really prove that point home, I'm going to go and play Dutch East Indies card, action card. And then this one I wait until the end to resolve because Joe might cause it to be discarded.
Do not place a marker. You just leave the card out. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. How many cards do you got left? I'll start playing some cards now as well, just so we can see what's happening. I'm going to play one for Canton. So that just goes up there. Okay. Then over to Fred.
I'm not really seeing that, but okay, fine.
Oh, it's at the top of the map. I think I could put it down somewhere else. That's maybe easier to see. Yeah.
Well, I believe you. Just to be nice if everybody could see.
Sure. It would be. I could put them in the sea near Tokyo, maybe. That should be fine.
Yeah, we can see it here. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're playing for that would be resolved at the end.
Yep.
Canton.
Non-wild cards, you just put the card out, and because they can be canceled by other cards. Yeah.
Yep.
So
It-
I'm trying to find a pro.
The value you're trying to play upright. Yeah. So this means this is for Canton.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's what I was looking for. Okay. I have to think a bit. That's never good.
Okay.
I think I'm going to play a bird of feather. So I'm going to play this card. And when it's the Soviets, I can place one influence either in Xinjiang, Mongolia, or Changsha. And
Yeah.
I like the idea of placing it in Changsha because there is some people over there. Beep.
And here you're placing a red influence, not a Soviet influence, right?
Yeah. I know you use red Chinese or nationalist Chinese influence and control markers.
Yep.
Yeah. China is a separate theater in this game. It's got a lot of rules that pertain only to China, and the line that defines China is. It's hard. Yeah, correct. That's it. There we go.
I was quite amused by the note in the rules that Hong Kong is not in China, which I'm sure could cause some drama today if you were to declare this. So.
Formosa.
Yeah, indeed. Well, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Hong Kong is in China, but Formosa isn't, right?
Hong Kong, China.
Hong Kong's not over, no. Yeah.
It's not subject to China.
Which is, I think, important because if I attacked Hong Kong, I'd be attacking Britain, wouldn't I? So.
Well, it is attacking Britain. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had one question about this nationalism card. So whenever these yellow text cards allow me to put 2 influence in China,
Yes.
Is it always restricted to 1 space?
Yes.
Okay. So it's just 2 in. So I put both of them in Canton just to teach
that's
Joe a lesson.
Yeah. You don't get 2 separate ones. You get 1, 2.
Okay, 1, 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do I do
You
that?
discard that card once you placed your markers. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do this.
Okay.
So the US is still 5 ahead of theirs, and Joe's Japan is 3 because his hand size is smaller.
Yep.
And I'm only 2. Okay.
The Soviets are 2 over, so it's really onus on the U.S. to play still more, play down to. What we say when we play is like, if you're 5 over, and the next guy is 3 over, then just play down to 3 over.
That's what we did yesterday as well, actually. Yeah. I'm happy to let Stephen play down to 3 over if Fred is.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine for me. I can let him play 3 cards.
Yeah. I'm glad that's officially designer approved way to play, because that's what we're doing.
All right, so my first one will be birds of a feather to just add more into Dutch East Indies.
Oh, no mercy.
You're really worried about that. That's
yeah. Well, I learned my lesson.
Yeah,
and
burn. Yeah, okay, fine.
Then I'll play. I should probably actually court the British Empire at some point. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can be useful.
Yeah.
Not too useful, but a bit.
Oh, useful.
I will admit, I almost didn't go for the Dutch East Indies just to put influence into Indochina to kind of stick it to Fred, but I resisted the urge to do that. And then I guess
choices in this game, and it's all about choices. So yeah.
Yeah. Nationalism again.
I'm actually considering decoupling nationalism from the double value, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's very flexible and powerful for him right now. So
Card, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess this is probably one of the best spaces in China right now. So I gotta get my Chiangkai.
After that, you can afford to let me play.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I will immediately. What will I do? Huh, that's interesting. I think I'll just hang on to those actually, because you're annoying me now. I'll play one in Tsingtao.
All right.
Yep.
And I'm going to do something that I didn't really have the opportunity to do last time. I'm going to play some Partisans.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to play this one for Partisans. And it's either in Mukden or in Fukien.
Correct.
I'm not sure where Fukien is.
South of Nanking there.
Oh, yeah, it's here. But I think that Mukden is way funnier. So I'm going to take one of those partisans here and place it here.
Okay. Now, I would, as long as we're here looking at this card, this is a wild card, right? And wild cards have a partisan option because it gives you the ability to place partisans in areas like Manchuria and nationalist China that don't have any diplomacy cards because they're not up for grabs diplomatically. So all of these partisan options are places in Manchuria or nationalist China where you're using the option.
And maybe you could explain a bit more about what those partisan units do, because all the other units are blocks and those ones are counters. Maybe you want to...
Are political cells, communist cells, and they have no, well, now they do. Since you have guerrilla warfare, they do have a little combat power. But they're basically like little viruses. They you can place them pretty cheaply as the Reds, and there's ways of multiplying them. And they're pretty hard to get rid of because if you fire at them and you roll a 6, you create another partisan. So that's kind of blowback because anti-partisan operations tended to create more partisans, right? So anyway, they're hard to get rid of. They multiply on their own with a little help. And in the end, when you have a good accumulation of partisans, or anytime really, but it's not wise to do it until you have a good accumulation, you can convert them to 1 CV of militia. So the potential military power, and now that you have guerrilla warfare, they're a little bit of a sting to them if you attack them. Not only if you roll a 6, you create another one, but they get to fire first at 1. A 1 will hit you. So they're already a bit of a hornet's nest to take on, and it'll just get worse.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So I think that's Parsons. Any questions here?
No, I don't. I think we're good.
That's okay. Yeah.
It's back to Steven's US.
Okay, so I think I'll play Peiping just to try to hopefully get that as a satellite by the end of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, that would be bad. And if I attack a satellite, not that I'm going to do that, that would be a declaration of war against the US, wouldn't it?
No.
No, it's not.
If you're talking about Peiping, okay.
Yeah.
The thing with the Chinese powers is they're called proxy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
And they're semi-independent. The U.S. runs them, and Russia runs the Reds, but their military actions have really no effect on you. So you can be crazy attacking everybody in sight, has no effect on the U.S. peace dividends or anything. So contrarily, Japan can attack China with no declaration of war implications. It's a separate deal. So the answer,
that's fine.
The answer is if Japan attacks a satellite Peiping, what they're doing actually is violate. We call it violation of a proxy power, and they're opening the war with nationalist China, which gives them 4 instant cards and a bump in their influence.
Yes.
So you don't really want to do it early, but anyway, that's okay.
We'll see. Yeah. And I'm going to play Tsingtao again. There we go. So 2 of those now. Oops. There you go. That's red.
And I'm going to play Partisans again. And I'm going to place them in Suzhou.
Just north of Nanking.
Yeah. Okay. And then it's Stephen. Yep.
Okay, so I will play a canton to discard your canton.
Well, if you're playing a card, you put it out on the table. You could play that you immediately discard the marker. But I usually leave the cards out and resolve them at the end of the play, and then at that point you'll peel off the card and peel off the marker.
Okay. Yep. Okay, that's fine. I'll play Birds of a Feather for Tsingtao to try and take that. So I'll add a marker immediately there. There it is. Okay.
Good.
I just got it.
Well done.
Good. I'll play a card for Vietnam.
Hmm.
just to tempt Stephen.
As tempting as that is, I'll play Sing Tao just to screw with Joe even more.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, well, turnabout fair play, right? That's what happened. The diplomatic fights turn into real fights, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
That's
bait him
fine.
into China because he just went straight for Hawaii on our game yesterday.
Yes.
So
That's true. Okay. That's fine. I'll pass.
Okay. Wait a minute. So you're passing because you are just at your hand limit. I'm below mine.
Yes, and so is US.
And so is the US. So we could potentially all pass.
Correct.
Just thinking about something. Tsingtao. I think I'd be. I'm gonna play Tsingtao too.
Okay.
okay.
Not making friends there, are you?
No. These
So
guys are always like this when I play with them. They're always bullying me.
I'll play Canton.
Okay. I will. Yeah, that's fine. You can do it.
So what do you do, Joe?
Nothing. I'm gonna pass.
You're passing? Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm playing Vietnam again.
Stephen, you want to do anything?
I do have a Sing Tao card in my hand, but I think I'll forgo. I think I'll pass.
Yeah, I think it's not necessary. Yeah. Good. And Joe, you're passing?
Yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah,
All
and I'm passing also. So we're all good.
We're gonna do diplomacy resolution. Now we'll solve all the cards on the board, starting with Japan, normal order.
Okay.
So
I discard both Sing Tao, I think, and the Canton as well. Yep.
Sing Tao is canceled.
Yep.
Yes, you discard both of those. Discard his too.
Yep. Yeah. So I can, and also Fred's one there.
And discard a Canton.
And one of the Canton. Yeah, it doesn't matter which. Great. Done.
Okay.
So I gain just the. Do I update this as well now? So I gain the one resource and the one population.
That's correct.
In influence. Yep.
Same for yeah.
Yeah, that's all I've gained, I think. Yep.
You gain and one pop. No, let's see. Just Sing Tao. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, just the one pop and one resource. Yep. That's it.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Rance.
Then it's me. I have 2 Soviet influence in Vietnam. So 1 and 2.
Yep. Well done.
So I'm going to discard this. I'm a bit early on the Vietnam influence, but that's good. So do I get resource and pop or not yet?
Yeah, you do.
You do, and you get that even for the Soviets, don't you? Still. Yeah. Yeah.
So I get
Russian.
So I get 1 resource for
Nice.
this.
Yeah.
And then I get 1 pop for this.
1 pop for yes, correct. That's
and 1 for Changsha as well.
and you
where?
and yes.
Oh yeah, and 1 for Changsha, but that's going to be on
Changsha, yeah.
But that's
you
going to
get
be on.
You get it for both. You get it.
both.
Okay.
Yep.
So increase here, and then I have this one here that's increased by 1.
Correct.
Muster value, so by 2, I believe.
So that's correct because you have.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, pardon me. No, that marker does not move. That's the
You need control. I think. Yeah.
not influence marker. You
Yes,
move
yeah, we had that discussion the other day. So this one will only move when I get control of Changsha.
Those
So
are
actually,
control markers. So you.
but do I increase the pop still for the Soviets?
Yeah, because you have influence there. So there's trade with Changsha.
Influence pop. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Don't get the China control city.
Yeah. And then now it's back to the US.
Yes.
Okay, so I think the Dutch East Indies is a satellite now of the U.S. Okay, so I'll flip this.
Right.
That's only 3 resources for the U.S. and 1 population, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so this will be on 13.
Only. That's pretty good.
And then I get just one influence in, I guess, New Delhi for the British.
Yep.
And then I think Peiping is now a satellite of Chiang Kai-shek.
Well done.
So that's 2 resources for the U.S. and 1 population.
Correct.
And then I think it's 1 city now that's controlled for.
That's correct too. Yes.
Right,
Well,
and then Canton is also a satellite of Chiang Kai-shek.
Right. Well done. Okay, good.
Which will be 1 more resource, 1 more pop, and
And
1
don't forget that. Go ahead, finish that first.
city.
By getting influence over the British Empire, you get there's 6 pop and 6.
Okay.
May
6
not
pop.
higher, but yeah.
Which doesn't do you much good until you build up your industry, though.
Yeah.
Market about it.
How many resources for the British Empire again?
6 and 6.
6 and 6. Okay.
Good, easy.
Yeah. And don't forget also, as the U.S. player, that now that you have Canton and Peiping as Chinese satellites, you get to place a unit there, a 2-city unit in each case of your choice. It has to be a nationalist, provincial unit, a fort or a militia. And also in the DEI, you're going to get to place a 2CV British unit of your choice.
Does it need to be a single 2CV unit in each? You can't split those?
1 unit 2CV.
Great. Good.
Where's my militia? There. Oh, I shouldn't say that out loud.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like there are blocks, Stephen.
Stephen always does this. Whenever we're playing games like this, he tells me what he's doing with his hidden cards.
Yeah, he doesn't like hidden informations.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't. Well, that's okay.
Okay, so so now I have to figure out what is going to stop Joe in the Dutch East Indies when he comes down there to take it.
Could you put a carrier there?
Anything you want there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Dutch carrier fleet. Do it.
And that's also just a 2 pip.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but those are going to be British,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
British in that sphere. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
In
I think I've got that.
China. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So I think that is diplomacy resolution.
Yep.
We're done. Let's take a look at the map. We're 1 hour in, so maybe we can do 1 year of combat if you want, or we can skip ahead. Whatever you think.
I guess we can, because there would be no much use of playing the. Do you think we should play the seasons and move units? We probably won't move them much, right?
Sure. Go ahead.
I'm gonna move some units.
You're gonna move some units? Okay, good. But then
I'm enraged. I'm enraged by this.
Then we can make the full year and see where we go. We'll go from there.
So we can move the marker to spring, as Fred is. And now the first thing that happens in spring is we have a command phase where each player can commit 1 action card face down, hopefully a spring card. And you can also not. It's your pick. But it goes in order. Again, Japan, it's first, then the Soviets, then U.S. And you can pass, and as long as there haven't been 3 passes in a row, you can. No, you shouldn't reveal it. This should be hidden.
Yeah, no, I'm just showing it. I'm not gonna play. It's just to explain what a spring command card is.
Yeah.
So you have the name of the season here, and you have the letter and the number.
Correct.
So the letter is gonna give an initiative level, and the number is the number of moves that you're gonna be able to do. So and those cards are the cards that we were playing before for influence. So you have to balance what you want to use during your command and what you want to use for political influence.
That's right.
So just showing it here, but I'm not planning on playing anything, so that's fine. Good. So Joe,
I'm not going to play a spring card.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm passing. I'm not planning on playing a spring card either.
I will play a spring card.
What?
Because I want to show off a mechanic.
Good man.
So I got to rotate this. So I'm going to play H6, and since I'm the only one, I guess I can just go ahead and go.
Well, no, there haven't been 3 passes, so not seeing.
Now we can actually step in.
Yeah, we could have played in response. I'm not going to, but in principle.
And I'm not either. Yeah.
Okay, fine. You're alone, so off you go, Stephen.
Okay. So I will move some units to Hawaii, just to set Joe up for Pearl Harbor. So I'll move 2 units, and I have to do strategic movement, right? Because
Maybe you can explain a bit the moves, if that's okay, Stephen, while you're moving, like the number of moves that you have and what type of move you're doing.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I have 6 with this card. That 6 commands, and I'm moving essentially 2 units. And I think through these ocean spaces, you have to they're like 2 movement points.
Correct.
And then so at least with some of those units, I think if you there's kind of like a strategic movement that doubles your movement.
You're right.
Yeah. And so to not say necessarily what they are, I think that they can reach Hawaii. And so
I think anything could, because even convoys are 2 double.
Yeah, because it's 4 or 6. Yeah.
Strategic movement is double. All units with 2 or 3. It's 4 to Hawaii, so any unit can move to Hawaii. Strategic means not in or out of a battle. You can't you can't pass through any territory that isn't friendly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll move 1 more to Hawaii. So it's 3 of my 6. And then I don't really want to do much else, but the main thing I want to do is I'm going to attack a partisan unit, which I think I can do. Activate the command, because there's this nice blowback effect in the game, which is if I roll a 6, it's going to actually create even more partisan units.
So you're attacking this one?
Yes. So
should you reveal your blocks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And another part of understanding partisan warfare is that forts cannot attack partisans.
That makes sense. Yep.
You have to go out in the country to deal with partisans. So, and plus, they're super strong. So yeah. So what do we got here? I can't quite make out what we got.
Yeah. So I have a 2 strength militia and a 1 strength infantry.
Cool. All right, but since the Reds have guerrilla warfare, they're entitled to fire first 1 die.
But I still have to commit to which unit I'm just saying I'm firing at ground units. Yeah. That's the only one I can fire at anyway.
Right, exactly. You would have to choose.
And I rolled a 1. Look. Bam!
There you go. And it must come off, as in all battles in this system, hits come off the largest unit of the target pipe. So he's targeting ground, which includes both militia and infantry. The largest is the 2 militia. It takes the hit.
And now, Stephen, you just have to roll a good 6. That's
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So the militia and the infantry are the same ground. So
militia has hits on 1 and 2. Infantry hits on 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, so I do need to roll them separately. So I'll roll the militia first, and I get a 4, which is luckily not a 6. And then I'll roll the infantry, which is also a 4. So they just did nothing. They just got ambushed and nothing else.
Okay, so the pip, no damage to the partisans. Okay. No hit. What did you roll with the infantry?
4.
Yeah, 2 4s. Okay, no hits, no nothing.
Yeah.
All right. But that was good of you to take that opportunity to show how anti-partisan warfare works.
Okay. So I think,
well, I guess being a designer, you know all about that.
Yeah. I think I'm done with my. I'm not gonna launch any more suicidal attacks against these well-trained communist cadres.
Very well trained.
Yeah. You got that time.
So we move into summer.
That was spring. We're getting into summer now.
That if the Reds had not gotten guerrilla warfare right off the bat, and it is fairly rare to get it that quickly, then this attack would have had only the 6 blowback, right? And you could not have taken any losses. You might have created more partisans. So it's a big deal to get guerrilla warfare. It's a big deal. Cool. Okay, so that is once through spring.
Yeah, we're in summer now, and it's back to Joe to decide if he wants to play a command card.
Yep, I'll play a card now. Okay.
And I'm not playing anything.
Okay.
I think I'll pass and not fight Fred more.
Oh, come on.
Great.
Well, maybe I should.
Are you going to try and generate some more guerrillas?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I should play that just to show how it works.
Sure.
So I'm gonna actually play a command card.
Sure.
Even if it's probably not something I would have done normally, but I'm gonna play one.
Yeah,
good. So we'll reveal.
Yep.
Unless Stephen wants to do something.
Yeah, Stephen could jump in now. Yep.
No, I'm not gonna get ambushed anymore.
That's good. Pass. Once you play the card, you automatically pass. So yeah.
Yep. 10. There we go. N10 W7. Great. So I'm up first then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to move some stuff around, and I have a question actually about this partisan. So, what's the risk to me leaving this partisan here? Is it just that once, if he invades me, he'll cause trouble? Can it cause any trouble by itself?
If you abandon Mukden,
I see.
in any future, or whether you do or you're not, but the danger is if you abandon it completely, in any future Soviet turn, they can spend one command, play a command card, and say, for one of my commands, I'm going to convert my partisan to a 1 CV militia, and you've lost Mukden.
And can they do that while I have units there still, or only if it's?
They still do it. They'll have to
Okay,
fight.
great. Yeah. So it could turn into a unit anytime, basically. That's the problem. Yeah.
The 1 CV militia attacking your pile of guys, and poof.
Yeah.
Wait.
Good. Okay, so I'll move one down here, then one unit over to here. That's 2 moves, and then I'll do some long distance moves. Yep. I'll move this unit, so they'll move 1, 2, 3. So that's a strategic move. And I'll move this strategically up here as well. And I'll actually move a unit down to keep control of Formosa there. That makes sense.
Yep.
Just don't want to cause trouble there. And actually, I have this forward base here as well, don't I? So I could start moving things down here. These bases actually, there's 3 different kinds. These large square ones, I can't reinforce units there or build units or anything, but I can on the hexagonal.
Ports there, or
Yep.
SNLFs for Japan. On the hexagonal basis, you can build anything. So if you have a unit out in the Pacific, he's not going to build unless he's in one of those bases.
Okay, great. I'll move one of these 2 out here. Yep, I'll move this one there. That's fine. And everyone else is happy where they are for now, I think. So I'll just leave everything else. Right. Oh no, and I'll do an attack on the partisan here. That's what I wanted to do. Yep. So
Big mistake.
I'll reveal the unit.
I'll
Yeah.
see.
So I've just sent a single infantry in.
Ouch.
Because I don't want, so I start with quite a strong infantry unit there, but there'd be a real risk that they just get a bit too overexcited and cause more partisans to come. So
If you lose your infantry to the partisans, then you will be vulnerable to what I said. Partisans
that's true. Yeah, it's risky.
If I roll a 1, they die.
Yep. So partisan gets to roll.
I rolled a 6. And the 6 doesn't work for me. I cannot. No.
You actually create Japanese partisans.
Yeah.
So let's roll. And I got 2. Perfect. So you're just
Yeah, you killed the partisan. All right. So it paid off that time.
that's how it's done, Stephen.
Yeah, the nationalists are jealous of the Japanese.
Of their efficient counterinsurgency tactics.
Yep.
Good. Now I have 7 that I don't know what I'm going to use for.
What I'll throw in here is that the militia attack units against partisans are normally militia, which hit on 1 and 2 and give up a partisan on 6.
Mhm.
As opposed to the Japanese infantry, who are more effective, hitting on 1, 2, 3 against the partisan on 6.
Yep.
So it's a little safer to put partisans in nationalist territory than in Japan.
But then I have a command of 7, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do with. But I'm going to use this and do a strategic movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to stop here. Boop.
Yep.
So that's 1. And then I'm going to do a strategic movement with this one. 1, 2, 3. That's my second move. Then I'm going to have another move here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to move it here. So that's 3 moves. And I cannot move partisans. They are stuck in the place where they are.
Oh, but you can recruit.
Yep.
So how would that work?
So how it works is you can recruit, roll 1 dice for every area where you have a partisan. So right now you have 2 areas. Unfortunately, you lost the 3rd one. So you can recruit twice. You can spend 2 commands to roll a dice and see if you generate another partisan.
Okay, and they will come and they will pop up in the same area.
They will pop up in one of those 2 same areas if you roll what you need to roll, which is a 6.
So I'm going to roll first for Xian.
Yep.
And I rolled a 5, so that's a fail. And then I'm going to roll in Suzhou. And I rolled a 6. Nice.
Okay. You actually roll them both at once, and it's your choice. You don't have to roll for the specific partisan. You just roll for recruiting.
Okay.
Twice.
Okay, and then I can decide wherever I want to put it.
Go and say it's cyan if you prefer. Yeah.
Okay, no, but I'm happy to have it here. I think that's I think that Stephen would be happy with that outcome.
So one of the nice things about the Reds is that they can always use their extra commands.
Mhm.
And there is a red tech called propaganda, which doubles your chance of recruiting to a 5 and a 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But now I have actually spent my 5 of my action points, and I have nothing left to do. If I don't want to, there is nothing else I could do right now.
Unless you want, you can also spend a command to convert a partisan to a militia, but I don't really think you want to do that. You could do that in Cyan.
In Cyan, I could do that, right?
You do that, but that will erase one of your partisan-held provinces and reduce your recruiting.
Yeah, it's actually I'm actually have a benefit of keeping one here. I'm going to keep my partisan here and discard my discard my last 2 commands.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, good. We got a lot done there. They've showed a lot of mechanics. General situation here is British have locked down DEI, which is really good because Japan is desperate for resources, and you've got a roadblock in their face in Peiping.
Mm-hmm.
And now, do you want to? Should we call that a year and move on to the scenario?
I was about to invade Peiping, but that's fine. That's okay.
Do
We can move on. No. We should move on. That's okay. I have it all set up. No, it's fine. We should.
I would presume that would be your next move for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
I was hoping to be able to get Tsingtao as a satellite, so I could have two fronts and invading Peiping. But
at production and government before any moves are made. So that's not out of the picture yet, right?
Yep. That's true. Yep.
So I think that's a good overview of an early turn. So we've played 36, and now I'm going to load a game that's going to push us in the future straight away and puts us in 1939.
So while Fred's loading the game, I had a few questions while I was playing, just kind of like substantive questions about the exam, not about the game, not the just about the mechanics. So one was that I love the partisan mechanics, which is why I in part wanted to show them off. And I was wondering whether why you drew the line where the Soviets can only have the Chinese ones and not the other resistance movements like in the Philippines and Malaya and China.
A lot of you're a designer, so but a lot of game design is deciding what's worth keeping and what's just doesn't quite give you the benefits for the extra issues that it's going to raise. And we did experiment with that, and it's kind of fun. And maybe in time we will develop a nice, clean mechanic for it. But we ran into complications. It complicated other rules to have partisans outside of China. So we said, look, let's leave alone here. Partisans is enough of a change already. China's got enough special rules, and so that's why. It did make the benefit versus complexity cut, long story short. As you know, in these games, we really try and keep it as clean as possible. So it's, really accessible, plays fast, easy to decide what to do relatively. So, yeah. So there's a lot of we probably cut out, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20% of stuff at the end, right? Just to simplify things.
So we're now in 1939, and things are not going well. So maybe just for a bit of context. So
Japan is part of Hawaii, I see.
Yeah, the year before, Japan has attacked Hawaii with quite a lot of success. So it was pretty good. But also Japan starting to go down here towards the nationalist that we can see. So pretty good progression. And also they also had some good influence. Especially they prevented anything from happening here with the US.
So that's it. One influence in the DEI. So yeah, that's huge.
I guess that the big difference is I think that now in this game the British Empire is fully allied with the US already.
You should put a control marker in Delhi to show that. So we're aware that the British are fully on side, part of the alliance. They can attack. They can do anything.
Yeah.
So
because I think it's marked here, but it would be good to also have it here. I'm gonna add a marker.
Add that just to make it real. I don't know. That's what we always did. Seems to. I think it should be real clear. It's a pretty big thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's okay. The British are active. They're fully capable, and okay. So we're going to start 1939. Is that where we're right at the beginning of New Year here?
Exactly.
And
So
that's right.
Japan has declared war on the U.S.
Yes.
Obviously, and the Reds are still out of it, right?
We're completely out of it, and we're really struggling. So the thing that you are going to see already straight is that I didn't get any partisan card in my and I only got one, and the one that I got, I really need to use it for something else. So I needed that wild card for another thing, and in the end, I only have one partisan here. So it's quite different from the game that we just left.
You can't use a normal diplomacy card to build partisans, right?
Oh, I don't need just the one with the.
No, if a Canton card or a Changsha card, you can use it for influence if you want to try and go that way and try and really take it over and make it a satellite, basically, or you can use that card to place a partisan there. So they mostly spend their action cards on partisans. So
okay, but then I would have done something differently. The thing that I've done though that I haven't done in the other one is that I prepared 2 militia, secret militia on the side that I'm ready to reveal at any time.
That's a good one. Yeah. All right.
And I made the land reform also, so that's
Got it.
and we can see that both the US and Japan has naval radar.
Oh, that's big. Yeah. Okay, we should make clear to everybody that this is not a continuation of the game they just saw it start.
No, it's a separate game. We're just looking way forward, just to show a bit further in the game how it's going.
So this is the prior game that they played, and we're starting in 1939. Okay, so the situation is the Japanese have influence, so they have lots of resources, and they are not a lot of progress in China. And it looks like they just took a shot at Pearl Harbor and beat it up pretty good, huh?
Yeah, pretty good.
All right, let's start 1939 with a peace dividend for the Soviets, because now that Japan and the U.S. are at war, they will never get another peace dividend, but the Soviets will. And you have reshuffled all discards into the deck?
I think it does it automatically in the mod, right?
I think you have to go to discards.
Oh.
And
a reshuffle deck?
And there's a button that says reshuffle.
Yeah. We hadn't been doing that. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's why we don't have any partisan cards, Fred.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So I just reshuffled the deck.
Okay. So now it's you would do a victory check, but nobody's in victory position here. So.
So the first thing that I'm going to do, because I was the only one with peace dividend, I guess, is rolling to see what's going to be the sequence of play, right?
Sure. Player order. Yeah. Turn order.
So that's a 3. So that means that it's going to be starting with the US, going counterclockwise.
Correct.
I'm going to move that. Boop, and rotate.
So US is going to go first in production. We're now doing production.
All right, so I have to do my proxy production.
Correct. Good idea.
Yeah.
So that's 2 free pips, right?
PMP is your limit at 2. So 2 free pips must be provincial units, meaning a fort or a militia.
Mm-hmm. I think I know what's going to happen to nationalist China here in a second. So
that includes if you like.
Okay. All right, so I've added my 2. So now I got to do my normal production, which I've gotten industry up to 10. And boy, do I need it. So I think I will draw 2 investment cards. And then I will spend the rest probably on military units. All right, so I'll increase 1 here in Australia. And then I will build in Hawaii. Whoops.
Oh, be careful, we're seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I will. Oh, and when do I get my extra? So I get all these extra units because Japan has shown this blatant aggression.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah. Can he build new blocks in bases? Whatever they're called.
No.
Yeah, island base. Okay.
You can only upgrade units in bases, right?
Okay, so you can only upgrade
anywhere, of course, right? Forts can be built anywhere. So, but otherwise, you're building new units, except for forts, are all coming from the U.S.
Okay.
or Australia for them, or home territory, basically.
Yeah, and actually, this is a question I had as well. For the British, is it only Australia that's home rather than
the dark blue areas? The light blue areas, India, not home territory, and you cannot build new units except forts there. The Indian Army, with few people complain about that, but the truth of the matter is, of those millions, but I don't know, maybe 100,000 max ever left India, max. And the rest were all kind of militia dudes, and I call them forts. So you can build all the forts you want in India, but no new combat units.
Okay. So we spent 3 here and then 1 on the thing that everyone knows now is a fort in Hawaii.
Why not?
And then
What's coming?
Okay, so that is 5. Sorry, that's 4, and then plus the 2 that I just upgraded in Hawaii, that's 6. So I have, and then 1 down here in Australia is 7. So what am I going to do with the last one? Probably
Build somebody in LA.
Yeah.
The units that just arrived, you can still build. The infantry and air force that came in New Year's, you can build them.
Okay, so I can build them up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they don't count as placing cadres down.
Okay. All right, so I've done all my industry.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've got 14. Now this block here, if it's a fort or a Japanese Marine SNLF, I can reinforce it, I believe.
You can build them anywhere on land, not engaged.
Great. So I'll spend 1 there, 1 here. So that's 2.
SNLFs are huge. The fact that you can build them anywhere and they're a mobile unit is huge.
Yeah, they do seem very good. 2 here. So that's.
So here it's Tsingtao, right?
Yeah, sorry, Tsingtao. Yep, Tsingtao. There's something else I wanted to do. That's 4. Oh yeah, and then sure, I'll spend 2 points here in Osaka as well. Oops. Yeah. So that's 6. So I have 8 left. So I'm just going to take 3 action cards and 5 investment cards.
Okay. There are markers provided to each player which show your production, and
Yes.
if you're having keeping track of stuff, or the other players want you to, you can start it at 14, and as you build, you move it down, and that way, if you get sidetracked, you'll know where you are.
Yep. No, so good. Cool. Okay. I've got those. I'm done now. I have enough of those.
Good. I think I'm going to use that marker because with my production, I need to track everything. It's really, I have 5, so that's going to be pretty fast. I get 2 free action cards from my satellite, right?
Correct.
So I'm going to
Proxy Production.
Yeah, I'm going to get those 2, and that's great. And here they are, Partisan cards. Okay, so maybe shuffling the deck might have been a good idea. And now I have 5 production. I think that with my production, I'm going to draw 5. I'm going to get 1 investment card, 1 action card, and then I'm going to use the 3 remaining to build stuff. So I'm going to increase the strength of a unit here and a unit here. Good, and that's it for me.
Red's units. I'm seeing his units on my map here.
You can what?
Can Stephen and Joseph, can you see Fred's red units?
No, they
unit?
they
No,
can't.
you're seeing Fred's own map, I believe. So
Yeah, because you're seeing my screen. But they don't see it.
Okay, cool.
and we never cheat. We don't look at it.
No.
So,
And I can show you this, Craig, the militia that I prepared.
there's actually several notes in the rulebook which I quite like, where you say if you're playing with somebody who you need to prove which block you're moving, then you need better friends. You shouldn't play with anyone who cheats. Those are great. I like those a lot.
Or maybe you should play with people that trust you. Also, that
Yes,
does too.
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Play with your friends. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
To me, that's part of the game. I mean, if you're playing
Yeah,
the
completely.
shark, then I'm not sure I want to play with you. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So that's
Okay.
the end of the production phase. We're going to go into the government phase.
Government.
Yep.
So again, U.S. first, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, but the US don't have a lot of cards in their hand. They're already below, but Japan is way above.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think I will pass.
I might as well throw something in here. It's kind of interesting. It's a real small point, but there is a reason why you would go against waiting for the big hand to go first, and that is there are cards in the investment deck which are intel cards, intelligence cards, where a guy can screw you. He can look at your hand, steal a card out of your hand, and if you're nervous about something you got going that you absolutely do not want to lose, like a pair of packs or something great, you might just, even if though that you don't have the biggest hand, you might just say, get rid of it, get it done before somebody ruins it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So that being said, I'm not going to pass.
Okay.
I'm going to play a. This is not exactly what I wanted, but it does. Is the card that you're actually referring to, which is blackmail. But I'm going to play it for the factories, simply because I feel like I need to upgrade my factories and not have Joe steal this industry from my hand.
Once the U.S. is war, their factory cost is down to 4, so they can move their industry a level with only 4 factories.
Yep. Okay. All right.
I'll go next, and I'll also play 2 cards here for 6 total to do factories industry. Okay. Here it is.
Okay. So now I'm going to do some partisans. So I'm going to play this one, partisans, and I'm going to place 1 partisan here.
Mm-hmm. And Stephen.
I'll pass now.
Okay, I'm going to do another industry.
Whoa.
It's kind of unnecessary, but I have these cards.
It's good. It'll come in handy once you start expanding.
Yep, exactly. Okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to do guerrilla warfare again.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It should be. Oh, I see that one. Yep. Because you know how good it is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think now I will play something, and technically the Dutch East Indies are adjacent to Singapore, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna intimidate the Dutch East Indies because that's how desperate the United States is at this point.
Why not?
Yeah, so I think I'll just discard Joe's.
Wait, before you do that, oh no, that's fine. I'm also going to intimidate the Dutch East Indies,
Okay.
which I can do, I think, from Sarawak, I believe. Yep.
Well, the U.S. can intimidate DEI, right?
Oh, can I? Yep. Yes.
And you own.
I own Sarawak up here.
Okay, so it's adjacent to friendly territory, so you can also intimidate the DEI.
Yep. Gonna do that. Yep.
They get pre-intimidated right now.
Yes.
So that yeah, exactly. One marker. All right.
Yep.
And
Great.
I said, you guys, you really want to give us the oil? I'm telling you, you're gonna hate it.
So my question to you. So you said that I could use normal action card for partisan. So and they would get resolved at the end of the government phase, but I would get to decide if I wanted to be an influence or a partisan. Is that it?
No, when you play the card, you say, I'm playing
straight away
partisans in Inner Mongolia, or I'm playing this for influence in Inner Mongolia.
So, for example, if I played this and I say I played it for partisan in In paping.
Oh, well, flip it up the other way then. You should rotate it
Yeah.
around. Okay. Yes, you could say I'm playing this for a partisan in paping. You place the partisan in paping and you discard the card.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that would have made everything way easier. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Gonna have partisans everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Normally you see a swarm of partisans by 1939. There should be 10 out at least.
Yeah, I'm a bit sad now. I use my card for
It's a learning game. You learn. That's what counts.
Yeah.
All right. So now they have played a partisan. So next order is the U.S. again, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. I will now pass.
Okay, I'm actually going to play one more Dutch East Indies card.
Okay.
There it is. There we go. I'll keep that out for now. There we go.
U.S. Oh, pardon me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Soviets. I think I'm gonna play Shanxi for influence.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you leave the card out in that case because
Yeah.
Right. Fine.
Yeah, Stephen, no.
Let me quickly check whether anyone. Okay, so I'm just gonna pass.
I'll pass as well.
And I'll pass as well.
Okay. Good. So now we resolve. We have one card out for the Dutch East Indies.
Yep. So I had a second there in Batavia.
Correct. And a card for influence in Shanxi for you.
So that means one resource for Russia.
Correct.
That's it for now. Yep.
And that's it for now, yeah.
But that's just an influence, so no muster value increase, yeah.
Okay, can discard this. Good. So that was the government phase, and we can go into spring.
Yes. And player order is U.S. first, so you want to play a command card.
Yeah, and this is face down or not face down?
Yeah, face down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're all you all commit, and then you reveal when everybody's got one out for whoever.
Right. So I'm definitely gonna play spring.
Yeah.
I'll play one as well. Oh wait, that's not spring. I'm not playing one. I could play an emergency one just for 2.
Yeah.
Command.
You could play one for any season, but you would have only 2 commands.
And I can't start battles with that either. Yeah.
Nor fight existing battles. No battles at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you can reinforce an existing battle. You just can't start it. You can't aggress. If you're losing a battle and you want to throw a couple new units in it, you can do that with emergency command.
I think I'll play one then actually, just in case I need to react to something.
To react?
So, yeah.
Okay. And then I'm going to be very cautious and do nothing.
Okay.
So you can reveal your cards.
So flip. See what we got.
A4.
H8.
Nice card. That's the one you want there.
Yeah, I felt like I really needed that one. Okay, so
You still got a chance.
I'm gonna move some pieces into Hawaii. Big guess. So we'll move 3 units into Hawaii. Of course, he's just gonna attack Los Angeles directly.
That would be something there, but you do have a 4/4. You're kind of okay.
Okay, and then I have one more, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna use it on. Let's see here. I could move the Prince of Wales around just so Japan will see it like it historically.
Yeah, out there in the Gulf of Siam would be good. That's a good spot.
Okay, so we'll put that there just to...
I love it.
Okay, great.
Provocation.
Let's
take away. So yeah.
And I just get 2 actions here, don't I? Oh, I think I see. I'm already at war with Britain as well, so there's no additional cost for me to do that. Yeah, okay, great. That's fine. Not that I've got any plans here. So I'll move this here from the requeues, and I'll actually move unit down from paping 1, 2.
Yeah, thank you for
3.
that. Chronicle. We mentioned that earlier in the game.
Yeah. And actually, so Board Game Chronicle had a question that I missed a bit earlier. So, So he said, in essence, you show attacking NAT units only to
reveal them to everybody. If you're fighting a battle, you open it up. Everybody sees it.
Mm-hmm. That's me done with my emergency moves there.
And the
okay.
did not play a card, so
Nope. So we're going to summer.
Summer.
I'll pass.
Whoa. Okay.
I'll play a card.
Woo! I will pass. But now, Stephen, you get the option of playing a card.
Yeah, I'll still pass.
Okay. Wow. All right.
So it's just me.
It is.
Wow, I've got 10. I'll actually use this little commands remaining just to make sure I keep track of it. So let's begin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move. Yeah, just to show off, I'm gonna move this unit here to Fujian. This unit from Manila into Hainan.
Yeah.
I could move into Hong Kong, but there's no particular value to Hong Kong, is there?
No.
And
Hainan's better.
that's great. Okay, good. So that's 2. My third one, I'll actually move this straight into Canton from Formosa. And third, and then for 2 more, I'll actually move both of these down. Strategic move into Fujian, which I can do now, I think.
Wasn't yours?
No, because it's not, because I don't control it yet.
No.
Yep. Okay, because that's at the end of the battle, even if there's no enemy pieces there. Great. Good. I can. Yeah, that's fine. They'll stay there. Actually, no, they can move in anyway. I realize because they
do it. Yeah.
They have speed 3. Yeah, that's fine. Yep, that's okay. So that's that. Good. And then I've got. So that's 5. I should be keeping track of these. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and then I'll move 3 units in to attack Pearl Harbor again.
Again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave them alone.
It's got a lot of stuff there, but
I think it's a lot of one value probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Guam. Just kind of left it there. That's fine. And then I'll move to. Do I need to do anything about Guam?
I think it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
Don't worry
it's
about
fine.
it. What could happen?
I'll send these planes in just to. Oh well, now I'll tell you what they are. They're going to go there to Guam just to try and see what's there. Go on a little scouting mission. Okay, so lots of fighting now. That's done. That's my commands over.
Move that. I thought you had 2 left.
Oh yeah, I did. That was just 3. You're right. I've got 1 left now. I do have 1 left.
Yeah, you have 1 left.
Move a guy out of Japan, get him out in position.
Yeah, that's
Whatever.
No, you're right. I'll move. I'll move 1. So 1, 2.
Or you can try to attack 1 partisan if you want.
3. I can do that anyway, I believe. I'll move this just down into South China Sea in case I need it there. There we go. Only so this would have to be a fleet to stay out here beyond the end of the turn. It would have to rebase if it's
ground.
Because you can convoy everything, can't you? Yeah.
Airplanes out there too, and it can be any airplanes can patrol the sea and remain.
Okay, good.
Yep. Ground planes can go out at sea too, but they're very vulnerable, so it's taking a risk. Yep. Okay, great. We got
lots. Where should we start? Let's just start with Hawaii again, just to get it over with. There we go.
I'm going to zoom in because it's going to be the big action scene.
Oh, he doesn't actually have any fleets there anymore. Okay.
No. I was so terrified of those long lances that I've kept all of the important things back in the Pacific. I mean, back on the Pacific coast of the U.S. Because
you have naval radar now, so if you get attacked, you have first fire.
No,
but they both have. They both have it.
So if you both have it,
he still attacks. Yeah, he's a defender. So.
Yeah.
So he begins with his 1 fortress there, doesn't he?
Okay.
Correct.
All right, and of course.
Roll the 6.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I bring in a partisan in Hawaii?
Yeah, partisan in Hawaii.
Then your Air Force?
Okay, so my Air Force is, and all of your guys are naval, so it doesn't
They're
matter.
all,
Right.
So it's funny how you retain the Columbia system without saying it in the initiative order of the combat units, no?
something similar, but we actually evolved this kind of independently, to be honest. But whatever, it's just a lot, right?
It's a pretty straightforward, simple.
Yeah, it's true.
So I go next, and I'll target ground with my fleets. So I get 9 attempts.
Yeah.
on this. So
Shoot
let's go.
individual change targets, but yeah, fine.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so I'll do one ship first then. Against ground, I get one hit. Which will come off one of your infantry. Yep. And the next ship fails, and then the final one fails as well. And then you get your 5 infantry pips.
Yep.
Okay. So fairly indecisive. My naval, and then I immediately need to withdraw, don't I, after this? Because they're navies.
Fired is 5 infantry.
Yep.
Missed everything.
Yeah.
All right. Now you do not have ground units present in this battle, so you must rebase.
But do I need to rebase, or can I just withdraw to the Central Pacific?
I think you need to rebase.
Okay.
I think that's right. Yeah, you have to rebase.
That might be right then. In which case, yeah.
So that you cannot do 2 things at once. You've already attacked with these guys. You can't hold an ocean with them too. That would be
I see. Okay, great. Yeah, so I'll move these back then to marshals, which they should be in range of.
Yes.
Yep. And if they were unable to rebase for some reason, they'd be destroyed. Although I can't.
That's
yeah,
right.
that could happen. Yep. Okay, interesting. That's nice. But I guess deliberately, the marshals is within range of Hawaii, such that you can continuously do this. Yep.
Until you lose it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too far for air. That's yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
Guam.
Yeah, Guam. I just sent an Air Force to go and see what's going on there in Guam.
Yeah, this is
Might be a portrait.
the Air Force that you failed to kill at Clark Airfield.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Defensive fire, or you can leave. You can zoom out
No,
of it.
we're gonna fight to the death.
Fire, take it.
So I
got me.
scored a hit.
Yep.
Trip. Okay.
And then I failed.
Yeah, these guys are the heroes of World War II.
Hey, you get another shot.
Okay. I'll rebase as well to marshals. There we go.
Did he fire again?
I failed. Oh, does he?
Oh yeah, you're
Can we
right.
continue going?
One round, Matt Landbaum.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yep. Okay. Done.
Then you
Okay,
can
so-
hide your unit in Guam, Stephen.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and hide that one.
And then final down in Canton. And at this point, I want to reveal my tech. Well, I'll reveal my block, and I believe I can reveal my tech as well. I've got the amphibious tanks down
Right.
here.
Right on. Yeah, big one. Good one.
And I've got militia.
So
Oh, really? I thought it might be a fortress. Okay. I might actually win. I didn't expect this.
They're gonna be crushed. Yeah.
I'll put one of these up here.
well, maybe not. They get first shot.
Yeah,
Okay.
true.
So I guess they're just World II, and they missed, as militia would.
3 triples.
Yep. And then I get 2 hits.
Oh, good one.
Got him.
All right, that was timely reveal of your amp tracks. All right.
And so now that's the end of all the battles. Do I put my control markers down now?
Oh, in Hainan, you don't have a fortress that appears. It's only if it's a bigger space.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're right. Yeah. Yep. I didn't think about that. I thought it was nationalist control for some reason, but it's not. Okay.
That's another. Yeah, you have to fight a fortress.
I do.
So you have to fight a neutral fortress. Do you want me to bring one in?
Sure. Have you got one? Yep.
I think I need to
That's
go
my
into the
Marines. I've got one here. I've got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a 1 CV.
Just one
Yep.
pip though. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So that's still pretty strong way. So you can try that first, then Stephen, against ground.
So I'm gonna roll it. I think.
Oh yeah, sure.
So yeah. So it does nothing.
Oh,
It rolls a
failed.
5.
And then I get 2 rolls against 2 for Marines, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, 1 to 2s.
Yeah, it's a success.
Oh, got it. Okay, I didn't expect that. Okay.
Nice point.
Hainan's not worth any population for me though, is it? So it's just good.
Just a strategic.
So that's
look.
gone. Yeah, it's a nice location though. So I can add these control markers down now.
Yes.
One here.
Do you want to fight some? Partisans?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes, I do.
Let him put
Uh, And I've just got a tank there, which is not so good at doing this. And you can roll first, actually. Go
Yeah,
on.
I
See
have
if you can pick
guerrilla
up the armor.
warfare.
Yeah.
So I need to roll a 1 against the tank, and I fail.
And then I need to roll a 2, and I succeeded.
Okay.
Excellent, guys. And the change of control of Canton.
Yes.
Was Canton nationalist control before? Yep.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I gain a population and a resource.
Yeah, but and the nationalists lose. Yeah.
City.
And the US loses too, actually. Yeah.
And was it nationalist influence or control there?
No, it was
Use
control.
control.
Yep.
So I lowered their cities.
That city. U.S.
Nice. That
And
was
you
much. I was
wanna-
actually positioning units on both sides of this, and it in paping. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot the Partisan there. Yeah, we'll do paping as well. There you go. That's a. Oh no, I can't. It's a fortress. I can't.
Oh yeah, you cannot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not allowed. Yep, that's fine. Done then. Yep, and Canton fell much easier than I anticipated, so I had a huge force ready there. Didn't need it. Okay, that's it.
Good. So that was summer. We go into fall.
Yep.
Oh, we have the blockade phase.
We do have a blockade phase here. If we should have noted that since war is now existing at the end of every season, you have to account for a supply line to all your units. And in the summer season, there's a special supply phase which entitles you to place blockade markers if you think you have the other guy's population or resources blockaded away from their production center, Tokyo or LA.
Yep.
So in this case, does anybody want to claim a blockade?
I don't think I see any.
Okay. So, and supplies, everybody feel like they're okay for supply? That only applies to basically tanks and infantry, by the way.
Yeah. So this one is fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is fine.
So it doesn't. So I wouldn't. This wouldn't be out of supply if I surrounded it in.
It would be.
Oh, it would be. I see. Interesting. Okay. Good. I see how to starve out Hawaii now.
You're gonna make the
Excellent.
siege of Hawaii. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're ready then.
Yeah. Now we're going into fall.
Okay, so where did I put my vassal hand menu is the real question. There we go. So I will play a card in fall.
I will play a card as well.
Of course.
And I think I would I would keep on doing nothing. I would just
So I have a C.
What do I have? I have a F.
Okay.
You're just catching the end, Eric. If you haven't been here earlier.
Yeah, Eric. Yeah, you're a bit late. We're in the last 10 minutes of the stream.
So because I've now heard of the Japanese siege of Hawaii plan, he has successfully, I think, lured out the.
Yep. So that's quite interesting because it would force my navy to split up such that it could concentrate. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's nice.
I can't decide whether I want to bring those guys. I think you'll just try to kill them with your superior. Oh well. Yeah, we'll leave those there for now.
Okay.
And then I have no idea what I'm going to do with all these nationalists. Probably nothing, which is probably expected, because they're pretty. Yeah, I don't think I actually have that much to do, but I feel like
Tsingtao is a pretty good target.
Yeah, that's true, because he's kind of spread out. So we will try to take Tsingtao.
Yeah, I think you can take Tsingtao pretty easily.
Okay. So I think that, that's pretty much all what I had in terms of the number of the card. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. So we do the battle in Tsingtao?
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, just 2 infantry.
Okay, I've just got a lot of militia.
Okay. Good. So I roll first, don't I? Yeah. 2 hits.
Okay.
Bad.
Not so easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, they both take a ding. 3 militia.
And no hits.
Okay, perfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
that hurts.
Well, definitely feels like the war in China.
What happens is
Yes.
the nationalists remain upright. They're the aggressors in this battle.
Yeah, they're the aggressor.
okay.
They stay. Yeah.
Oh, that's to show they're the aggressor. Yep.
Yeah.
That makes it clear that the Japanese are the controllers, and they still control Tsingtao and its resource and population.
Yep. Okay. So I've got 7. So I'll move 1 here, 2 here.
Oh.
3. Okay, so I've got 4 left. And actually, I think I can also surround Guam, which I probably should have done much earlier. Just didn't really think
But
about
it doesn't really matter
move.
for Guam because it's an air unit, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, so air units don't need.
Yeah.
I see. So it's only ground units that need supply. Okay, good. So that doesn't matter so much. But it is an air unit. So it's actually quite difficult to get rid of that air force there in Guam, isn't it?
Well, a ground unit will displace it unless it dies.
Oh, and it's got nowhere to. Well, it would go down to Papua or something. Yeah, exactly. Great. I see. Yeah, so I'll send this in. It couldn't go to Manila, in fact.
What we're talking about here is if after a battle, a land battle, one side has no ground units and the other side does, then they have to leave.
Yep, good. So I'll send 1 unit there. Then I've got 3 left. So I'll send this here, and I'll send this here. 1 more. So Nanking's still quite strongly defended, but Suchao isn't. Interesting. They can stay there. Oh, I know what I can do. I can send this army from Canton up into. I can just send it into Changsha and attack for Reds, can I? That's fine.
Well, you're going to attack. That is still neutral. No, that
that would be a violation.
That'll be neutral. That'll be a violation of neutrality. That's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
So what happens now? I'm violating the neutrality of Changsha.
So you have a 2 CV unit, CV fortress that comes up,
and you give up 1 card to your opponents.
Yeah, I guess that's a bit bad. That's fine. I'll do that. Yep.
All right.
So did you give me a card?
Yeah, go for it. But just to Fred, because we're at war now, me and Stephen, right? Yep.
No, everybody, all of your rivals get a card when you violate a neutral.
Oh, okay. So I was not sure if a rival remained a rival when they became an enemy.
Period. A rival that you're at war with is a rival.
Okay, good.
Oh, so but we don't get a card from his hand. We just draw it.
Yep.
You get a card off the deck. An action.
Okay, and it's an action card, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll do that.
Wouldn't you have also violated the neutrality of Hainan?
He did.
Yes, so you should have drawn a card then as well. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
You drawn everyone.
Draw 2 cards.
Yep.
Thanks, Joe, for all those
tasty
cards.
That's fine. Okay, let's begin then with this Hawaii Sea battle.
Okay. And the very, very bad U.S. commander of the game has decided to put subs here.
You're not really the limits of this game. It's a bit disappointing. Yeah.
When can subs decide to dive?
After 1 full round of combat. So you have to survive 1 round before you can submerge. So you have to but you do have the option, since you're first in firing order here. You do have the option to retreat immediately over the base. If you don't want to fight it out with these guys, you're first. You can just run to LA, or you can retreat to one of the oceans adjacent.
And that's something that fleets can always do, or fleets and Air Force?
Anyone who has the option to fire, when it comes to your turn to fire, you always have the option to fire to retreat, move to an adjacent area that's not a battle, not enemy.
Good.
And if you're an ANS unit, an air or naval unit, you can rebase to retreat. So.
Okay, good. Yep.
Fight.
Yeah, I think I kind of need to attrition
against 6 fleets.
Yeah, you're gonna get obliterated.
Yeah. So I will pull them back to, I guess, Los Angeles.
Okay. Craig, my sense of the subs is they're primarily good for blocking supply and things. Would that be fair?
If you want to take away a sea lane cheaply, stick it out and they have to stop and fight you, and you buzz off, and they can't move any farther. So you can
good.
Yeah.
Okay, Guam. I've just sent in some Marines.
Okay.
But they might die.
They might die.
There's a chance.
Yeah,
small chance.
I'll roll 1. And they did not die.
Then what do I need to roll? I don't get any Air Force, so you just need to rebase. No.
Yep. And so it just has to be within range. It's still friendly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that's
That's
here.
gonna be,
That's if you want.
Oh, actually, you also had the Solomons, I think. 1, 2, 3.
But you can't move 3. This is a rebase. That's not a strategic move. This
Yeah.
normal range here. Yeah. So you can move your normal range, which is 2 for Air Force. So you can move.
And if you couldn't have rebased, it would have been destroyed, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have the big fight here.
Yep, big fight here.
He's got nowhere to land. If he's got nowhere to land within range, he's gonna die. Yeah.
Okay. So back to my militia.
That's gonna go great.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think I get 1 tank first, I believe.
yes, tank is militia? Yes.
And it hit. Yeah,
Okay.
but none of your militia hit anyway, so
Yeah,
that's fine.
so that they wouldn't have changed much.
Yeah, and then I'll do my infantry as well, and they destroy the rest of your militia.
Okay.
Shooting, boy.
Okay,
You did really well in that battle.
that did not go so great. Okay, that feels about right though.
Yeah,
And
I
then
want
I
the record to
guess
show that it was the CCP that encouraged me to do that. So
I
Changsha's not going to go.
I
so hard for
didn't
me.
expect your troops to be so poorly trained. That's the
Just come to you and then you shoot first. Yeah.
So Fred and Changsha, you get 2 hits from this
Yeah.
fortress, which is going to obliterate me.
oh,
Yes.
2 hits.
That was really dumb of me. Then I get 1 hit, which I'll roll. There we go. Failed. Okay. That was
Wow.
silly. Okay.
Or
Does
take-
this?
Actually, I don't think you can flip them. You just leave it there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Yeah,
leave it here, but you stay flipped just to show that you're the aggressor there.
That's right. Yeah.
Spectacular. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you want to attack some partisans?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Go
Ask
for it.
the Soviet player. It's kitty.
You're off first, Red, because
Yeah.
you have your guerrillas now. Yeah.
But I don't know what you have.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's an infantry.
So in infantry,
Yep.
I don't do anything. And the other one is a fortress. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a fortress. Yeah, but I reveal it anyway. But yeah, it's a fortress.
And
And,
you
I failed. Oh, and I
and
rolled a
you rolled
6.
a
Yeah, so
6.
you had another one. Yeah. Whoops.
Oh boy. All right. Good.
Yep.
Well, you did get the same towel. That's a good trade-off.
Yes.
So it means that next time I will be able to roll 2 dice for ambush.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. I'm happy with that. Great. So that was the end of the summer, and now we have winter.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
we didn't talk about it, but in winter.
Oh, no, wait. What about this?
Oh, wait.
What happens over here?
Sorry.
Are they unsupplied in Hawaii?
Pardon me?
In Hawaii, are these blocks now unsupplied?
Yeah, supply phase. But
Yeah.
yes, you're right. End of this is fall we're playing now.
Yeah.
End of fall supply phase. Check supply. All of the units in Hawaii obviously do not have a supply line to Los Angeles or anywhere, and so to the extent that they are not a fortress and their ground unit, they lose a pip.
Which is pretty much all of them.
And they were a lot of ones there. Remember that.
Yeah. And you can see
Exactly.
them disappear. Oh, that's really sad.
Well, he got you there.
Yeah.
Very good. Thanks for reminding me of that too, Joseph.
Mhm.
Of course, you wouldn't forget that, would you?
Yeah. No, he didn't.
exactly.
It was
No.
pretty, yeah.
He part of the plan. Yep.
And now we go into winter, and we didn't explain what can happen in winter, right?
In that there's two constraints. One of them is that as far as regular turns involving movement and combat go, only the Soviets can do them within Russia. So since there's no combat within Russia, you are entitled to spend a card and move units within Russia if you want to do it. But for the winter turn, the Russians have the same kind of a winter turn they have in Triumph and Tragedy, which is they can move and have combat within Russia only. As far as Japan and the US go, they can spend a card to do moves called redeployments, which means that you move a unit by strategic movement only into a friendly base or into friendly home territory. That's the only moves you can make. But they can be very useful to stage up units to a forward base. But there's no combat going to happen, and you can't aggress on anybody or set any blockades or anything because you have to go into a base, right? Okay. So that's what a winter turn can be if you want to commit a card.
But I'm gonna commit a card.
Okay.
Go for it. I'm not.
I'm not going to play a card.
Okay. So I'm gonna.
Wants to redeploy some units probably into bases, or maybe anyway. This also enables you to send units somewhere where they can build home territory or a base. So if you
Okay,
got
so
that you want to build, maybe you maybe you deploy them back into a base.
I'm going to move those 2 units from here to here.
Yes, I see.
So it's 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And 1, 2, 3. I have 6 left. I can probably do some partisan recruitments.
No, because it's not within Russia.
Oh yes. Oh.
Sorry. That way, but we just didn't do it that way.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I'm still happy with my move. That's what I'm gonna do. And yeah, I wasn't planning on using the Thailand or the Vietnam card anyway. So that's it for me.
All right. Cool. Sorry about that. I should have explained that before you spent your card, but
No, I forgot it was only in Russia, but it's my bad. Good.
all right.
And
So
that would be the end of the year.
the year, and we're back into 1940.
Yeah.
We
But
have no minutes left.
yes, and we have no minutes left. But I think we can. It's a good time maybe to just discuss a bit, if that sounds good before to wrap up.
Sure.
But I think I would start. I would say that there is quite a few small things that we didn't get right when we were playing it, because there is quite a lot more happening than in Triumph and Tragedy, and I think that we missed a few things, and it actually makes the whole. Now I can see that, at least from my perspective, that the whole Soviet dynamic is actually a bit more interesting at the early stage of the game than what I thought. I thought it was going to become more interesting after, but at the beginning I couldn't do much. But actually, with those few changes that we realized regarding how you can use the action card, it makes it a lot more exciting.
I would also insert here, if I may, that new players often underestimate the power of a Russian army buildup.
Yep.
Yeah.
You notice right now Japan has got nothing.
Yes.
And Ronnie, my co-designer, was very fond of, if he saw the Japanese army moving south and not leaving much in Manchuria, he would build a gigantic force in Chita and come right after you, because there's big time points for the Russians in Manchuria.
Mm-hmm.
For the Soviets, you get 4 muster for Mukden +2 for a subcapital. So Mukden is worth 6 points for the Red.
Yeah, and I must say now it's super tempting.
And if you've got Korea, there's a total of like 10 points in Manchuria for the Soviets. So just throwing that in is that it's not so.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's centric for the Reds for sure, but you always have the potential of spending your money on the Russian army instead and doing some damage. Okay, that's all I wanted to say about the Reds.
That also seems like quite an important counterweight to me, because I was able to build up a huge force to deal with the US this game, but if I was more concerned about defending the northern border there, that would distract me quite a lot.
Yeah. And this is where the 3-way dynamic comes in, because once you get so you know how the game works, then you start getting talk between the players and saying, how about we have a peace treaty for 3 years or 4 years, or U.S. is getting pressed. How about, I'll give you something and you build up a threatening force on Manchuria. And that's part of the game that you will get into more as you learn more about it.
And that's actually the question that I wanted to ask you during playtest and all this. Like, did the game, once player become experienced, does it become really negotiation heavy?
I wouldn't say heavy, but I wouldn't say there's a lot of negotiation, but there's a lot of important negotiation, like I just said. It could be that, U.S. is getting hammered here, and the Russians and the U.S. might decide that, okay, let's do something. I will move my guy out of Tashkent, away from India. I won't threaten you there anymore. And I'll move some guys onto the border, and we'll just kind of, unthreaten each other, right? Neutralize compared to each other, so we can spend more energy on Japan. And although maybe there's not a lot of this negotiation, they can be very important. And they're all short-term agreements. None of these are enforceable. So you make a deal, and it's up to you to keep it, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there is some important negotiation that goes on when we got experienced at it.
And was it at any point a consideration that you could actually trade stuff to enforce the negotiation? For example, just action cards or things like this?
No, you can't trade cards, but what you can do is you can what's called repudiation. You can remove influence. Okay, I'll take all my influence out of Changsha, or you can even remove a block. You can say, I'll just take, I'll move them away, or I'll just take some away. If you can't move them away, say, okay, I will remove my threat. I'm going to remove a couple blocks. That's pretty extreme, but you can do that as a part of these negotiations.
Okay, so that's already quite a lot of things. The fact that you can repudiate influence and remove some blocks. So you have some room for
control. You could have control of somewhere, and you can say, well, I'll just give that up so you can move in and you can have it. So you need resources or whatever. So yeah, you can trade that stuff off for considerations.
Stephen, did you have any question or comments or anything?
Yeah, I had one other question I was kind of wondering about. Having played both Triumph and Tragedy in this one, is that you said at the beginning that they were like they're sandbox games.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, when you think of like designing it, do you think of like the historical like distribution of outcomes that you think are plausible, and then where do you draw the line between ones that you think are implausible, that you saw in playtest and you're like, there's no way I can let that happen. There's no way that a U.S. player would send subs.
And if it's too implausible, then you have to fix it. That's it's a judgment call. But we try to make these games as open and free as possible. But if something happens, you say no, then you fix that. You do something to make it either heavily discouraged or impossible or whatever you need to do. So yeah, no, if we got results that were just unacceptable, then yeah, I tried to squash them out. We'll see if I got them all. We'll see.
Yeah, and for now, how has the reception been for this one?
It's been pretty good, I would say. I think it's getting mostly high ratings, but not as high as TNT got. It's more complicated, and it's a little bit. Some people, anyway. I think it's gotten a good. I'm pleased with the reaction. I'll put it that way. So far, people seem, in my opinion, it'll probably seem a little less attractive in the beginning because a lot of the beginning game gets involved in the Chinese War. But once the Pacific War opens up, this game is hairy. This game is hairy. Things happen real fast and they're real brutal naval battles. Man, you can lose 2 years of production in a season easily. And the mobility out in the ocean is so open, it's hard to hold a front in the ocean. So the movement is crazy stuff. It's hard to predict what the other guy is going to do because he can do a lot of things. So once you get into the naval war, it's pretty amazing, I think. It's pretty exciting.
And there was a question here by Arnaud asking that he's curious about the fact that you can combine the two games, so Triumph and Tragedy and Conquest and Consequence.
Yeah.
Maybe just can you talk a bit more about what happens when you put the two together?
Well, we have of course just finished this game, and just begun considering how to play these side by side. I would say that the way that it's going to have to go is that you're going to play these games side by side, and each game is going to play according to its own rules and with its own. You can't change cards from one side to the other. You can't. There will be some units can cross over. Technologies can cross over if their technologies common to both games, right? There's going to be some amount of production that you can cross over, right? But in the case of, I'm looking at 1 or 2 production points, probably. In the case of Russia, you've got the single railroad running out there. It would be hard to do more production transfer than they actually did. In the case of the West and the U.S., you're talking about across the Atlantic, and that traffic was pretty maxed out too. And in the case of Germany and Japan, long way to Tipperary there. And I think the rule that I would put in is that you can, during production, you can transfer 1 or 2 points to your partner, provided you have a trade route between your production centers. So there's that. There's some rules about, let's see, what am I thinking? Anyway, what I'm saying is that I foresee these games playing side by side. There would be, victory conditions would be from the combination of partners, right? In other words, something like maybe an accumulation of 40 points between the 2 partners would win you an economic sudden death victory, and maybe only 3 subcapitals plus all of your own, something like that. And the infinite number of unit transfers, but it involves a lot of movement to transfer from one to the other. Once you transfer to the other guy, they're his units.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to send them back. And the victory conditions also will be, particularly in a partnership game where you're talking about 6 different people playing, victory conditions will be that if you win a sudden death, economic or military victory, or it's atom bomb victory, you win and your partner does not win. You want to help your partner not lose, but you don't want to particularly help him win. right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I've got it lined up right now. And we looked into trying to make it more homogenized, and it's just going to be a ton of work, and I don't think it's worth trying to redesign everything so that
Mm-hmm.
the United States is one player. That means the whole economic system's out the window. You got to redesign everything, right? So I'm not very sanguine on trying to take that on, but I think you certainly can play them side by side. You can certainly help each other. You can certainly transfer units back and forth. You can share technologies. You can do stuff. But you are basically, that's the way it was. They were basically fighting their own wars, right? The Pacific War and the Atlantic War didn't really interact all that much. There was some unit transfer, there was some production, but not a whole bunch. So that's the way I'm looking at it at this point. There's rules out there on BGG that you can play with that I think would be worth trying, and I think they look workable, and I would be interested to see what people think.
Yeah, but it's super interesting. But once again, I think we can wrap it up here. I would like to say, Craig, thanks a lot for coming here and walking us through the game. It was really fun.
Yeah,
I'm actually quite looking forward to having another game. But I would wonder, if Joe and Stephen, if you would be happy from starting from scratch to play it again, because now that we've ironed a few details out,
you'll play a lot smarter now, and yeah, I bet you all got ideas what you want to do too.
Yeah, definitely.
I never want to see this save again.
Yeah, me neither. Let's forget about it. But I wanted also to thank both of you, Stephen and Joe, for being here tonight and playing this game.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really great. Thanks to everyone in the chat. If you're still watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel, well, it looks like you are liking what you're seeing, so maybe you should subscribe, I would say. So that's the thing. And I would say have a great evening, and I will be back next week to play Crusade and Revolution with the designer David. So if you're interested in CDGs, I would recommend that you come and connect next Sunday. And Craig, I would again offering, if you want to play sometime on Vassal, a game of a coin game, and you want to have a live stream or privately, I think I can find a few people that would be very happy to play a coin game with you. So just let us know.
It's pretty popular. It's very popular, and like I say, you can always learn from something from trying a new game. And it's too bad that I haven't up to now. But as I said, my game life is pretty taken up. Anyway, I want to thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much, Craig. I really enjoyed it. Would you be open to actually have a session of East Front?
Sure.
Yeah, because I think it's an amazing block game, and I think it would it's been out in a while, and I think it deserves more love. So maybe we could do that at some point over the summer. I would really enjoy if we had a game of East Front.
It's a game. I'm pretty fond of it.
Yeah, good, great. But thanks everyone. Have a good evening, and for the watchers, see you next week. Bye bye.
To Stephen and